We're going back to Vienna, folks, for a zine that I think might have come out of Berlin. Hey everybody, it's Tom. It's FANzine Live right here, and we are doing our World Zines look. Went back to Vienna. I've got my zines broken out by city that I picked them up in, and so I went back to Vienna and I pulled out a copy of Art Horse Volume 3. And the Art Horse is a very nice looking book. Very big. To give you a sense, I'm going to pull out a copy of my Patriot comic. Comparing it to a regular comic, you can see this thing. I'll do it this way. And forgive the ring. That's a big extra piece. So I wouldn't even know what to call this. Is it deluxe size? It's not a magazine because it's got the proportions of a comic. This is very big. And it's gorgeous printing. Art Horse appears to have a little bit of the Euro punk aesthetic. Neat wraparound cover here. This is I should show you. We're looking at a paperback bound zine. Reason why I was a little bit unsure whether or not it is a true Vienna book is that's the television tower from East Berlin. Totally unmistakable. And so I'm not sure whether or not this is a German or an Austrian zine, but I bought it at Bilderbox in Vienna. And so we're going to take a look at it as a representative of what's available in Vienna. But really what I think it says is what's available in Vienna probably is also available in Berlin and other parts of Eastern Europe, kind of in the same way that the Kush series is available all over Europe as well. The character, the Art Horse, Sherry, I believe is her name, is Sherry is prevalent throughout. It's a mix of German and English, and so I'm not going to be able to read much of it to you, though this one is in English. A little more modern zine cartooning, a simpler style, done digitally clearly and shaded nicely. I mean, it's well done as that. This one's talking about, I guess, if there were no cars in the city, we could use the streets for so much. So, talking about environmental issues, folks getting on the streets and protesting for clean air, burn rubber, not oil. Nice thing I also note is that it appears that all of the different creators were given the chance to write their story and draw their story, and then they get a page of ad space in what really is a fantastically presented and printed book. I mean, you can tell from the glare that we've got gloss. It's a nice high quality paper. Just very nice. Another one, Dr. Banana's shock treatment. It's Halloween night and everyone's having a ball except for your favorite MD, Dr. Shorty. Well, someone has to do the night shift, I guess. How about a horror story to pass the time? Something ghastly and blood-curdling I call The Pickle in the High Castle. So, having some fun with the characters. And I note that they're using the computer graphics to be able to do some neat things with lighting and reflections and shading. This one uses a lot less formal line work and just goes straight to outlines then colored in. I mean, like, for example, this character here, this banana guy, the eyes don't really have much more in terms of blacks than just the dots for the eyes, nor the banana itself, but you do have like a version of black. You've got grays there on outlining the jacket. So you can see little of this, little of that. Shoplifter's Guide to Paradise. This one spoke to me because we're talking about the graffiti in Eastern Europe, and the graffiti over there in many cities, especially Vienna, especially Berlin, is really impressive. And so one wouldn't necessarily think of reminiscing the sound of shaking spray cans and pens to tag every bus on my long travel to school with my personal logo representing a box of cigarettes. You wouldn't think that this would be nostalgia, but this is Eastern Europe for you, and heck yeah, it is nostalgia. So kind of a neat looking one. Very loose design. Man, I'd love to be able to draw that fast, and I mean, just get the fingers right and get the heads right and the faces and even the horse all done in the right way. Another ad. The Hairs and Snakes, Part 2. Nice looking car. Again, very loose. This is more of closer to doing it in flats rather than with full coloring, but you can see not a lot of shading. A couple lines there, a couple hatches there, but basically everything's left to the coloring, which is kind of the style of what we're doing these days. Neat leaves. This was an interesting one. As I was reading through it, it says autobiographical comic by Smirk. This one is where I really thought, wait a minute, we're talking about Berlin, because it says a lot of people lived in this small province town in the middle of nowhere since the GDR, the German Democratic Republic, or East Germany. They did their best to replace the Stasi, the secret police. Kind of a neat look there. The format being the tiny panels with heavy captioning all the way through and small pictures reminds me of Seth and the stuff he does for Drawn and Quarterly. But if you read it, it really is a punk aesthetic. This person's on the wrong side of the power equation, clearly. Then you get some live, the first ever Art Horse Bazaar. So this would be their photos that they had. And I'm looking at the pictures. I do not know where those onion domes are. I mean, that looks Russian to me, but I wouldn't know better. So anyway, it looks like they did a show, and it's a nice look at how you can do a pop-up show, put out some tents, get some tables, do it up. Looks like they had a good time. Bears in Space. Again, real light artwork with very bright coloring. Neat sci-fi. You see a lot of dark sci-fi, but the light sci-fi is different. He's cute, he's hairy, he's power bear. So clearly playing to the LGBT world. A lot of variety. I wish I could read this one. Clearly we're talking about agriculture. Looks like they killed off some birds. Kind of interesting. The story of Lilith. All tasteful. Clearly a romantic type thing. Trash musical. About recycling. Be the perfect wreck. Perfectionism. 20% off. And this is an interesting one. Kind of a shack village. But again, we go back and that's Berlin. So it looks like there's a commune that they're living in, an LGBT-friendly commune. I wouldn't call that the Berlin Wall, but it certainly is a wall. Then it gets torn down. And the Wall of Sherry. Very cool. Nice looking book. Nice looking book. I really wish I had brushed up better on my German because I am totally illiterate to that. But Art Horse, Volume 3. Nice book. If I can find some information, there is some social media stuff in here. If I can find some information on Art Horse, I will post it into the show notes. Otherwise, thank you for watching, everybody. I wish you the best, and I will catch you next time.